Good. You're working on something?
Yes.
You have to come up with something. Yeah. Do you want this one? I'm going to stay home. Here's, you have another copy?
That's it.
Okay, just take that one.
Okay.
I'm going to leave at 7 anyway.
So good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a special meeting. It's called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notices of this meeting were sent or faxed to the Union Leader and the Star Ledger on January 27th?
Yep.
Yep, okay. 2016. In addition, copies of notices were posted on all bulletin boards and the municipal building and filed in the office of the Borough Clerk on aforementioned date. Notices on the bulletin board have remained continuously posted. Proper notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of this meeting. The minutes of this meeting should also reflect the purposes for which this meeting was called. So, Madam Clerk, would you do a roll call?
Councilwoman Story? Here. Councilman Kelly?
Here.
Councilman Miola?
Here.
Councilman Petrosky?
Here.
Councilman Shipley?
Here.
And Mayor Hokinson.
Here.
Just a step.
I'm not gonna roam, so you're gonna say here.
He's coming in.
No, you just call it.
Say here, Bob. Yo.
Okay, here, okay.
And like I was informed it was done last year, I think we're going to keep the public portion toward the end. And I'm going to at this time turn the meeting over to our CFO, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. Okay, this is our first meeting for 2016 budget. To start off, we're going to talk about surplus. Our surplus was regenerated. We used $1.4 million in the 2015 budget out of $2,181,585.16. And we regenerated $1,480,598.70. So it was an increase of $80,598.70. So the surplus at the end of 2015 is $2,262,183.86. Our tax collection rate. Our tax collection rate went slightly down to 98.19%. 2014 it was 98.39%. We still do diligently send out delinquent notices. We have a couple of big taxpayers who didn't pay but weren't eligible for tax sale. So that collection rate should go back up this year if those businesses pay or go on tax sale. Net valuation taxable. This was our the year. These numbers are being brought up with the revaluation that was done last year. It was finished up. So the 2016 net valuation taxable is $1,054,177,601. Converting the 2015 net valuation taxable would have been $1,030,642,945. So now we are at 100% market rate. Tax appeals. Tax appeals, we currently have a reserve of $400,000. Last year it was $300,000. We increased it another $100,000 this year. We still have about 20 appeals pending before the state tax board. And unfortunately, this $400,000 is nice to have, but it could be taken away in one appeal settlement. So at least we have something set aside to help the situation out. Getting into the budget itself. Currently, we're at a 5.4-cent tax increase, which is $136.62 per house assessed at $253,000. We used a 97.65% collection rate, which was the same rate we used out of a maximum of 98.19% from last year. To roughly have an tax increase of 0, we would need to cut a little over $568,000 in appropriations or increase revenues by that amount. Getting into the 2% tax levy cap. Last year, the amount to be raised by taxation was $12,201,890.43. A hard 2% cap would be an additional $244,037.81. At roughly a flat 2% increase, tax increase at the average house would be roughly $58.57. However, with the 2% tax levy cap, there are allowable exclusions such as increases in shared service agreements, health insurance costs, pension obligations, low SAP, capital improvements, debt service, capital leases, recycling tax, deferred charges to future taxation, unfunded in current year deferred charges, emergencies. The budget we are discussing tonight, our amount to be raised by taxes is $12,750,627.90. That doesn't include the library minimum amount of $363,328.32, which would make the overall municipal tax amount to be raised by taxation of $13,113,956.22. Our maximum allowable amount with exceptions under a 2% tax levy cap is $12,551,394. So we were over the cap by roughly $199,233.90. However, we have cap banking of over $250,000 that would cover that. So technically, this budget is allowable under the 2% cap currently presented. As far as the appropriation side cap, this year the cost of living adjustment is 0%. We're already under this cap by $18,078.69. And if we do our cap banking ordinance, that raises it up to 3.5%, which we do every year, we would be under by $452,905.15. The budget revenues, which is section A in your packet. Most revenues are the same as last year's being anticipated, including state aid, with the exception for parking meters. We decreased that by $5,000. Cable TV franchise fees is an increase of $6,451.36. And obviously the amount to be raised by taxes. There's an overall increase of $568,190.04, including the library. Most of the grants we are still waiting for, and as they come in and get awarded, if it's before our adoption, before our introduction, we will obviously amend the budget, or we will do Chapter 159 resolutions throughout the year as they come in. As I did mention, we are predicting state aid to be level this year at $1,084,086. Looking at some mandatory increases, roughly salaries and wages is $198,807 increase. Tax impact for the average house is roughly $47.71. Animal control other expenses is a $100 increase, 2 cents impact. The utilities are estimates right now. Fire hydrant estimate of $5,000 increase, $120 tax impact. Telephone $11,000 increase, $202.64.
What page are you on, please?
I'm just reading off my working notes.
Okay.
We'll get into the other sheets in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Water, other expenses estimate, roughly $2,000 increase, 48 cents tax impact. Gas, $3,000 increase, 72-cent impact. Public employees retirement system other expenses, a $9,517 increase, tax impact of $2.28. Social Security other expenses, $14,000 increase, $3.36 tax impact. Police and firemen retirement system, $55,542 increase, and a tax impact of $13.33. Defined contribution retirement plan, increase of $100, 2-cent impact. Implementation of fair share housing, the COLA plan, which is offset with our capital for the actual work. Anticipating right now a $100,000 increase or $24 tax impact. Group insurance plan for employees, $80,000 increase, $19.20 impact. Health benefits waiver, $5,000 increase for $120 tax increase. Workers' compensation insurance, $7,000 increase for $1.68 increase. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $60,414 increase for a $14.50 increase. So those increases total $551,480, and the tax impact is $132.35. So that's what we're looking at. It's mandatory right now out of the tax increase of $136.62. Currently, for the appropriation salaries and wages, all contracts are settled except the dispatchers. All contracts were settled previously for 2% increases for this year. Dispatchers is to be determined, and the mayor and council took a 0% as of now. If you look at Section B in your packet. Sheet 1 is comparing what the 2016 amount to the 2015 adopted. What the difference is, just running down the ones that are difference by more than the normal increases. The municipal clerk is showing a decrease. That is due to the former administrative assistant was being budgeted with the current one for a partial carryover of time for training purposes. That is now out of this year's budget. Excuse me. Under Public Works, there's a big increase. It was requested for an additional equipment operator and an additional laborer, and the superintendent is budgeted in for a full year. So that's what brings that number up to more than the 2%.
Does that increase headcount by 1 being the equipment operator, or increase headcount by 3 being 2 plus 2 laborers? Because I remember last year we had
well, it's including an additional, from what we have right now, it would be 2, it would increase by 2. The third one, it would be a new equipment operator, it would be a new laborer. The third laborer has been a budgeted position last year. We just didn't fill it yet, so, but that, I'm not considering a new position because
Right.
it's something we just didn't fill
so
yet that we're in the
so
process
that the salary allocated to that position, since it was already budgeted for last year, that's already reflected in.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
of. And the equipment operator, the impact is $66,291.79. The laborer, and this is just salaries, 45. I'm sorry, not benefits. Right now, $45,894.96. And the superintendent adding it in because it wasn't a full year last year, $13,000. And obviously, with the 2 other positions, we're now into February ready, so if we are going to keep these positions or obviously consider them for this year, we can prorate it for what we expect as a start date and not have a full impact this year. But this budget is presented with that right now. Community center, salaries and wages. There's an increase there, and that is, besides the 2% increase for the employees there, we the CDBG social services grant for our bus drivers. We lost $6,500 from last year's grant to this year's grant. So that's the balance of the money for the drivers is put there, for when that,
Have we, I mean, I know it's only a temporary thing, but have we saved any money because that one position is not fulfilled? Minimal?
not minimal because the driver we have is just gotta pick up the slack, so.
Okay.
And we have it advertised again. I spoke to Rupin and we're just,
Not getting a response?
yeah, we're gonna have to, try and figure something out. I think he was gonna call the, Union County, job training program to see if they had anybody qualified or that they could get somebody qualified, so.
You have to have a CDL, correct?
They have to have a CDL with a passenger,
Endorsements, and that's the problem.
So if anybody knows of any, please have them fill out an application and send a resume in, so.
Excuse me, Ken, I have a question. So we lost, so negative 6,000 there. Do you have the number for us if we held on to that grant?
Oh, no, we have the grant. The grant was awarded as 18,000.
Right,
The
but
year
there's a
before was,
$6,000 difference.
right, the year before was 24,000, roughly 490.
Okay.
So obviously we don't cut the program,
Right, right.
you know, because we still have the events for the seniors. We just have to pick up that portion now. Code enforcement is a little bit over the 2% due to the fact that we increased the part-time employees' hours from 25 hours to 30 hours. We did that last year, and it's continuing through. We haven't adjusted that. Excuse me. So that's sheet 1. Getting into the other expense side, if you turn to sheet 2. The mayor and council's budget was presented with a $50 increase. I believe due to dues, but I will double check that, see if we can keep that flat. League of Municipality dues and things of that nature. And I'm just going through the changes right now. The engineering services and costs, that went down $4,974. With the new contract award to them, there was a decrease in their contract. Public defender is down $1,250. The trust fund has more funds this year, so we didn't have to use as much tax dollars. The Historical Society budget put in reflected a $375 increase, of which $225 of it alone is for the rent increase. The Municipal Land Use Board is showing a $41,000 increase. $1,000 is for educational training that is needed, and $40,000 we have to, is requested. We're waiting on an exact price to get from the planner, but we threw in an estimate to, we have to redo the master plan this year. The fire official for fire prevention requested a $200 increase. And that is basically for the supplies during fire prevention week that is given out to the school children. Police department budget has a $62,400 increase. This is basically made up from the car equipment for the 3 new cars for $25,000, and maintenance contract for the body cameras. The first year was picked up, and the cameras were paid for through the prosecutor's office. We're working on trying to get a more definitive price for the maintenance contract. First aid squad put in for a $647.50 increase. They just did their 5% down the board with no explanation, so shooting for the stars. Emergency management showing a $5,100 increase. That is basically where the auxiliary police uniforms and equipment needs are for the auxiliary police. Public Works requested a $500 increase. No exact explanation. I'm working with the superintendent to see where that is needed. Sorry, my eyesight's gone. Garbage disposal is staying level. Just so everyone is aware, this budget is presented. We did have 2 bulks last year. This budget has 2 bulks in there. And we are out to bid for that. And the bid opening is on March the 2nd at 11 a.m. Solid waste has an increase estimates and for the bulk, and also there is an increase in the contract amount for the regular garbage pickup. Recycling, there is an increase for the vegetative waste contract for $6,000. And we also have roll-offs in there. We have a bid opening for the wood roll-offs on March the 1st at 10 a.m. The wood and vegetative waste from the trees. We have roll-off boxes down at the DPW. So when the tree group goes out and takes the trees down, logs and the bigger things that shipping is going to a roll-off container that they haul away.
Okay.
Usually once free firewood help them out.
Public buildings and grounds, we just have $10,000. We have estimates in there. We are out to bid for janitorial and lawn and maintenance openings. I'm sorry. The lawn and maintenance bid opening is on February 25th, and the janitorial is also February 25th. So hopefully we can fine tune that number down, not up.
February 25th or?
February 25th for,
Basically.
yes, janitorial, yes, the janitorial of the building.
February 25th.
February 25th, next, 2 weeks from today, actually. That's at 10 a.m. and the lawn maintenance is at 11 a.m. Yes. Maintenance of vehicles is showing an $18,000 increase right now. I'm going to be working with the departments and seeing where they feel those issues are.
So that falls under maintenance of vehicles.
Police, fire, DPW, first aid, and the small amount for the shuttles.
Okay.
Yeah,
So everybody.
right. The Board of Health, the contract for the Board of Health with Westfield has a decrease this year of $4,040. And there's a slight increase in there for of $125. The vital statistics paper, I believe, has gone up, and that's what the reason. Animal control contract, I was in contact with Woodbridge. They just sent over, which I will be forwarding to Doreen for the meeting next week, to renew the contract for Township of Woodbridge, showing that it's a $200 increase. Right now, we have enough money to split half and half between the budget and the Animal Control Trust. As we get a little bit closer, we'll see if we can fine tune that more, if we get the rest of the dog registered and reduce the burden on the tax. The community center showing an $8,000 increase. Rupen has some new programs he'd like to introduce and talk about. So I don't know if you want, I think the best bet with that, between the community center and celebration of public events, he wants to talk about some programs. I don't know if you want to have him come through the whole committee, the whole budget meeting, if you want to come to the next budget meeting, or do you want to do it at a finance committee meeting? I don't know how you, what everybody. Whole budget meeting, okay. So I'll ask him to come in for next week.
Okay. Okay.
And that would be,
2 weeks, I'm sorry, I apologize.
sorry, that would be to detail celebration of public events and other expense increase.
Correct.
Okay.
Celebration of public events also shows the full amount in there for, well, he has fireworks and activities. The fireworks, we do have enough money currently in the trust to cover that, so we will be able to reduce that $10,800 out of that number for now. But I know he wants to discuss some of the cultural events and things that went on that I'm not sure about donations, but I'd rather him explain it to you and so I don't miss anything in translation. Farmers markets requesting a slight increase of $300. That's, the budget is mainly just used for pay the dues for the market and the actual advertising of the market, so.
So are we going to be increasing advertising?
Well, the cost of advertising has gone up and we've extended the market
Oh, that's
time frame,
yes.
so I don't know how much extra advertising we'll get out of it, but that's been requested for now.
What kind of advertising are you doing?
The union leader, I believe, goes the article, the advertisement of advertising when the farmer's market is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what goes in the paper. I don't remember off the top of my head if she uses a strong ledger also. I can find it out.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
The utilities, these are all estimates right now. I'm working on fine tuning them with the final monthly payment came in, monthly bills came in, so I will retweak them for the next meeting to see if we can adjust them at all. So right now, just fire hydrants was estimated at 5,000 right now, increased with telephone 11,000, and the water 2,000. Gas 3,000 increase, and gasoline down 15,000. The public employees retirement system, as I mentioned, that bill went up $9,517. It's now $266,326. Social Security is based on the salary calculations, an anticipated increase of $14,000. But obviously, if we tweak those, public works salaries, this number will adjust. Police and fire retirement system, there's a bill increased $55,542. That bill is now at $787,498. Sheet 4, the DCRP is an increase of $100. That defined contribution retirement program. The new pension plan that was introduced. The library budget right now I am showing as a flat increase of $390,000. The library did request a little bit more, $34,536 more than that. I would like to do what we did last year. I thought that worked well. We met with the library director, the president of the library board, the council liaison, and the finance chairperson, and reviewed their budget and came back with a recommendation for the whole body.
Ken, what's the, first line of the state minimum for?
Oh, the state minimum for that is $363,328.32. And that is an increase over last year's $342,000.
So how much did it increase what the state says in the?
The minimum?
20 and change?
$19,452.57 increase. Last year's minimum requirement was $343,875.75. Maintenance of 911, we had a decrease in the health benefit side of that, and also a slight increase in the clothing allowance, $125. The implementation of the fair housing plan, which is our in capital, we have the money set aside for the actual renovations of the house as per the lawsuit agreement that we have. This will be, I believe, the final phase-in of that for the $200,000. But this is for the advertising of the program and the actual administration of the program. Last year we had to transfer in $99,000. So I want to talk to the administrator of CPG&H again and see how they feel it's going to run this year.
Could you give me a little background on that? Not too extensive.
Basically what it was from the lawsuit that was settled, we have to rehab 50 homes at $20,000 roughly each. So we have set aside $1 million in capital. We are phasing that in over a 5-year program of $200,000 per year. If my mind serves me correct, we will be in the 5th year. We'll last $200,000 of that this year. But the operating expenses of we hired the CPG&H to go out and advertise the program and administer the program. But the people apply through them. They have to meet the financial requirements. That's when we'll put a resolution before to say we're going to do renovations at this home from this vendor. But on the operating side of the budget is where we have to pay for the advertising and administration of it. And the capital side is where we pay for the actual construction.
That was the rumor.
And the good news is that it's going up, that we're getting more people applying, and so we're getting done what we need to get done. People are qualifying for the program and what's getting done. I believe we have 17 currently done. So,
Orange is 70.
Group insurance, we're looking at $80,000 increase for the employee benefits. And health benefit waivers, we have one member, one additional member, which does save the borough money, so that's a good increase on that side. Workers' compensation bill went up $7,000. Liability insurance went down $10,000. And the grants, basically the Safe and Secure grant is coming around for renewal beginning of March. We're waiting to hear what the grant numbers are. We are anticipating the same amount that it's been in the last several years for the $60,000 part of the grant. And the match is made up, obviously, of the rest of those officers. So as soon as I hear exactly the final amount, that'll be tweaked if it needs to be. So, matching funds for grants, we're putting in $10,000. Last year we applied for the grant, Greening Union Counties. We matched it with capital monies. We can decide to do that again if we're going to apply for it, or if not, the money will be built into the budget right here. So that's something we can discuss further. But as for now, it's in there for the trees, because we did say we want to get on a program again of replacing them. So the Municipal Alliance grant we have in there, it's the same as last year, $18,582 for the grant. And the match is $4,645. And the only other grant we know of right now is the recycling tonnage grant for $8,188. We're on sheet 5 in section B right now. Bond principal is down $125,000. Interest on bonds is down $37,737.50. And reserve for uncollected taxes is an increase of $60,414. Just as a friendly reminder for everybody, basically what this is a non-spending appropriation. It's just to make sure we have a balanced budget, to ensure we have enough cash flow, because we have to pay the county 100% of the taxes, and the Board of Education 100% of the taxes. So basically, this is a calculation for everybody who doesn't pay their taxes on time, everybody else pays for it. So that is the other expense side of the current fund budget.
Can I just ask two questions
Sure.
before we move on from B?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I probably confused myself asking about, as far as the library goes, so understand what the state minimum requirement was last year and then this year, and then what's the requested amount for this year?
Their request is,
Because that's where I think I wrote it down wrong.
their request was $424,536.
And that's 2016. And
Well,
how,
in this introduced budget, we left the amount flat as last year at $390,000.
okay,
Because last year we allowed them to go into reserves if needed, a
Okay,
certain
that's right.
amount, but they only went in for about half of that.
okay, all right, now I know. Thank you. Oh, I said two. You're waiting on me. In B, page 3, other expenses, code enforcement. I think think, I
Oh,
don't know,
I
I missed.
apologize, I skipped that.
Yeah.
My mistake. Right now, that is an estimate, and I have to talk with the construction official. That is something I calculated in for now with the possible potential developments coming in, that we may have to hire some part-time inspectors because we don't have, with that type of development, so. Not that we know what it is, but it's.
Right.
There was some casual talk with, I know with the mayor and with the code enforcement officer about, that perhaps our fees are a little lower than other communities, so would there be a possibility of increasing the fees to try
That's-
to
That was
balance that?
something I was going to ask the committee to meet with
We had-
sooner than later, so we can get that ordinance introduced, and,
We had planned a meeting with the department heads, but we got snowed out.
Okay.
So we were gonna schedule it pending another nor'easter.
Yeah, because if we're, not that we want to soak anybody, but if we're not in line with,
No, we're at
Everyone
1980
else.
prices. We had,
then we should be, and
So, yes.
perhaps decrease.
and obviously, if we know we're gonna do that, we can obviously offset it with anticipating a little more from the construction court office on the revenue side, so. I apologize, thank you for
I'm
that.
good with it, thank you. You were in the zone, I didn't want to interrupt
I
you.
thought there was a reason you passed it. I said, we're
I-
gonna come back to it
My
later.
eyes, I gotta go to the eye doctor.
Is it in the budget?
You're recording
Turn it on.
the mic down, because it's like, I'm hearing
Yeah.
him echoed, it's a little disconcerting. Thank you.
Okay, so we did mention we're gonna talk to the library, and are we okay doing it that way? I think it worked well last year, having it just the council liaison, the finance chair, and the library. We're gonna bring in Rupert at the next meeting. Are there any other departments that you want to bring into the full council at the next budget meeting? Or, I mean, you don't have to tell me that right now today, but let me know at next meeting, and this way we can schedule them for hopefully the 25th. Or if we just want to go through, if there's any particular departments that you want to bring into the finance committee and just discuss it there, and then the committee can bring it back to the full council. We can do that.
In general, or in addition to the usual departments that come in and present?
Well, I'm just talking the operating budget right now, not capital. I know, we're gonna bring in everybody for capital.
Yeah.
Capital.
For operating, I'd like to at least, see a plan or like be sold on the increased headcount.
Okay.
What it would help alleviate, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, I was suggesting to Ken that we do something like have the liaisons or the committees meet with these department heads and kind of sort out what's going on, and then have a meeting with, I guess, myself, Ken, and everything to find out what he needs before we bring them in, so they have everything, so you're not sending people back. Good point.
Ken, have you received all the budgets?
If somebody did not send in a budget, their amount was left the same.
Did anybody?
There is a few.
Can you name names?
I will report back to you on that.
Okay,
I wrote them
okay.
all down individually as I was going through it.
All right,
But I will definitely do that.
okay.
Okay, let's talk about the sewer budget, section C. Well, to start out with the sewer budget, the surplus, which isn't in section C, so I'm just gonna. We did regenerate the surplus. We used 50,000 of the surplus in the 2015 current fund budget out of $345,099.44. We did regenerate 215,567.70, an increase of 165,567.70. So sewer surplus is now $510,667.14. We did just receive in the raw data, which we get from the water company for the sewer billings. Once again, the water company changed their system on us, so we're working with our software vendor to try and convert the data for our billing purposes. But the good news is overall the sewer budget is down $45,771. We're not anticipating using any surplus in the sewer budget. If you look at section, your sheet C, page 1, we didn't use any last year. We're not using any this year for the sewer budget. And the sewer rent charges, we will be anticipating is $241,904. And if you go to page 2, you will see that the joint meeting has gone up $35,195 to $662,294. The Roselle Valley Sewage Authority, I only got this number verbally. They still have not sent out their information, but I was on the phone with their treasurer, and he confirmed to me that the number won't change verbally. But they have a decrease of $45,616, and that appropriation is now $504,610.
And you know that.
They said they were going to be mailing out the paperwork this week, so. I did look back, because last year we also got it late. Last year we got it by February 9th. We still didn't get anything, so hopefully we're off for next week again, hopefully. And the only other changes in the sort of the payment of the bond principal, there is no payment needed this year, decrease of $35,000, and interest on bonds, a decrease of $350. So that is the sewer budget. So that is the 2016 budgets in a quick nutshell for you. Anybody else have any questions for me right now?
A lot of my residents have asked, how much roughly did we lose with the red light, canceling the red light?
Tell you that. This past year was just the wind down of it.
Right.
You know, so we still collected a little bit of revenue in January and February. I still can't believe the program is, even for what the state lost, I don't know. But obviously the main concern was the public safety. For our budget purposes, last year, 2015 revenues, we had taken in $17,802. Because that was just January, we collected revenue for tickets that were still out there in the beginning of February. Overall, the municipality took in, since its inception back in May of 2011, through the ending of, in February of 15, $1,073,594. $594. That was the red light cameras amount for the municipality.
And we're not expected to get anything for 2016 at all.
Now it's gone.
It's gone. the chief said there was a little bit of talk about it again, and the county lost from just our share of it, $641,822.50. And the state, which they always say they're hurting for revenues, $268,398.50. That was just Roselle Park. So
The equipment is still there, right?
the equipment is still there.
It's just turned off.
Right.
That's per December. Whatever some evaluation.
If they ever bring it back, I'm sure they'll need new equipment, something different, something.
Which would be up to the company's responsibility.
Nobody has anything else from the council? Yeah.
I have a motion to open up the public portion.
Second,
No, motion first.
I make a motion, we open up the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
I,
Aye. The public portion is now open.
I'd like to ask Ken, up right away, Joe Miola, 546 Pinewood.
Yeah, would you state your name and address?
Name, rank, serial number here.
Joe Miola, 546 Pinewood.
Thank you.
Ken, you said that the increase in the rate would be somewhere around $147. Based on, previously that would be based on a house value at $65,000. What's the value now that this would be worth?
The value now is $253,000.
It would be based $250, they would get that increase.
253 is the average assessment now.
Okay. And that money you gave on the red light, that's how much we actually collected?
Yes.
That's not how much it cost us to process all the mailings and the employees and everything. We had costs against that, right?
Yes. I can
Okay.
give you that too. Basically, the costs we had against that, sorry. Basically, the net effect out of it was we got $633,389.30.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tina Schwartz, 117 Avon Street, and I'm also the director at the rec committee. I was just wondering, there's a couple events that we run for the kids in town. We run a Halloween event at the Casano Center. Our budget now, I believe, is like $800. I'm looking to maybe possibly increase the budget a little bit because there were so many people and so many kids there this year that we almost ran out of stuff. And we did use our $800. And also for the Easter candy run, I think our budget is $2,000, I'm not sure, if we can increase it by maybe $500. And we're also doing that this year at the Casano Center. I spoke to Ruben and we set a date for March 19th with a rain date of March 26th. But I wanna make the event a little bit bigger because there were so many kids last year at Acker Park that I was hoping that we, could definitely do it at the Casano Center, and we actually could use some extra, an increase in our budget so that we could do maybe just a little bit more. And then I was also wondering if we could run like some kind of summer event, maybe towards the end of the summer for the kids in town. I was thinking maybe like a petting zoo, possible Italian ices and stuff, so we haven't done anything in the summer. It would be a new event, maybe like $1,000, asking $1,500. I'm not exactly sure on what we're doing yet, but I would like to do something.
well, is that something you could do in conjunction, the library has the end of summer, party for their reading programs every year, which is either on the lawn or more lately in the Casano Center. I don't know if that would work.
Maybe we could combine it and do something together.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, maybe that would be something that you would want to talk to the library director about.
Okay.
Now,
Good idea.
Where's the budget fall? Is it separate or is it?
it's under recreation.
Is it recreation?
I I heard you asked for an increase of 500 in Easter.
Yes.
You asked for more money in Halloween, but you didn't say how much you're looking for.
For Halloween, if we could increase it to maybe, $1,500,
So an increase of 700.
yes.
What's that?
Directed to the chair. The chairman, Chris. Tina,
Yes.
may I?
Yes.
Did you already submit your budget?
No, because this is new to me, so I don't really know.
I'm just saying, because that's something that
Okay.
should have been,
Okay,
when the notices go out from the chief financial officer that the budgets are due by
Okay.
October, that should
okay.
be,
So am I too late?
well, no, it's just that when the budgets go out, you fill them out, you sit with your committee, you fill them out, and then you send them back to the chief financial officer. This way here, he's already got that kind of like in the figures.
Okay,
Because that 132.62 is now just creeping up a little bit, so. That's all.
Okay.
Just for next year's reference. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Good evening. How many tax appeals are still pending, state and county?
Want me to answer you right now?
No, you're good. And the unfavorable question is, mayor and council are not taking a pay cut this year. Are you?
Not that I know of.
You're not taking a pay cut?
Usually you give us credit for not taking an increase.
No increase.
We're gonna go back to where we were before.
You're gonna stay? No
Right.
increase, no pay increase?
The only increase is, well, Mr. Director, the Chair, it's a $50 increase for dues.
Each person?
No.
$50 total?
Right.
It's the $11,050, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll find that one. Total employees at DPW? I know this is Board of Education. Perhaps you've heard something about state aid for the school system, homestead rebates. When are we gonna find out about that? Energy tax, is that coming back to the municipalities from the state? End of questions.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, energy tax coming back from the states, every municipality would love that. I don't think that's ever gonna happen, unfortunately.
It isn't coming back, but they're just discussing it.
They're discussing it, but I don't think it's gonna, unfortunately, pass, but if it does, it will be a bonus for all the municipalities. The homestead rebate, I believe the governor is not doing that this year, but I will double check for you.
Why isn't he not doing it?
You have to ask him.
He wasn't in New
He's
Jersey.
back in New Jersey again.
He's back in New Jersey again?
I'll
Okay.
hold on, find out.
You said something about the Board of Ed, state aid.
Yeah, for education.
You wanna give me a little?
Education. You've heard anything about it?
Tax appeals pending at the state, we have roughly 20 still.
Still 20.
County, don't know yet, they're not due until May 1st of this year, only because of the revow. I don't want people to get confused next year. Normally the cutoff is April 1st, but because we had a revaluation, they're given a 1-month extension. And the total DPW employees, don't remember off the top of my head, but if you give me a minute,
That was 9.
I think you're right, but I just wanna, if you're positive, I'll,
Oh, look it up.
Too many numbers going through my head these days.
You can calculate it out, man.
No, I was doing something like,
That many?
no, it's just,
2.3 children.
Two new ones.
sorry, I gotta put my readers on.
Finally.
I have 11, currently including the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and the secretary.
11 total?
Yeah.
New hires?
No.
None.
Not
Are
as
we
of
gonna
yet.
hire anyone?
Yes.
Well, we introduced this with we introduced it with 2 additional plus the 1 replacement.
So
You're
that-
saying that the
So
budget.
if everything goes through in this budget, there will be 14.
14?
We used to have 20.
Well, that's almost as much as we had years ago. Thank you.
So if you're at 150 Berlin Street, right now, what is the average increase? I just heard a lot of numbers, I just want to make sure that.
The average increase is based on a house which is 253,000, is the new average assessment, is $136.62.
That's with the cap and the exemptions, correct?
That's
That's
this
everything.
budget as we present it right now.
Um, For the events for the Casino Center, does this budget include the Christmas parade or no?
He did budget some money for that.
Um, For the administration of the affordable housing, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the number. How much was that for the advertising and administration of affordable housing?
We have it set right now at $130,000.
Do you know how much it was last year?
Last year's the budget was introduced at $30,000 and we transferred in $99,000.
So last year's was 30. I know this is ahead, but the 5-year outlook, that was for capital expenses, correct? Per department, or is that for operating expenses
No,
as well?
that was just capital.
Debt services, for lack of a better word, are basically our yearly mortgage payments for capital projects. Is that, now, is this year's debt service including the possible work with the Galloping Hill sewer system?
No, that service is what is existing, that was issued.
So if that becomes included in the millions, and impact our debt services significantly. The cable fees, $60,000, is that just gonna return to the general budget? General operating budget, or is some of that, or any, or all of that gonna be dedicated to the fees for the cable?
Cable TV franchise
Yes.
fees? Okay, there was,
60,000, correct?
no, an increase of 6,000.
6,000, okay. For the appeals, are those appeals as of when the deadline is, or is that for October 1st for the tax appeals?
Which number are you talking about?
In other words, the deadline has been extended to,
For
May.
county tax appeals is May 1st.
so people can appeal their taxes today? Or what?
Well, you could file.
File, I'm sorry,
You could
file. It's not for like 2015? Could be for
No,
this year?
it's this year.
How do, because
In
I
other
heard,
words, if somebody's not happy,
With the assessment.
even if they met with the company with their assessment, you
you can still,
file appeal.
I had heard a figure, you had given an increase of $100, and then you said it was a $24.
There is an exception, certain financial exceptions where it can possibly go to 22.
For you, Mr. Chair, on the same issue, does the borough have instituted developers fees to help with the COA obligation or this program? You know, developers fees on permitting, but so.
Yes, there is some that's collected through the construction office. Once the permits are filed, it's 50% in the beginning and then the balance at the end, based on what their assessment.
Maybe I can just get that later, like exactly how much is charged to the development formula. I mean, it's pretty much a standard formula. I'm just curious.
I don't remember the formula off the top of my head, but we can.
And just for the council's information, I'm sure the CFO knows this, with the potential developments that are happening in the borough that would help our COA obligation. So something to consider for you guys. Just had another question. Does the borough have an unemployment compensation trust
Mm-hmm.
and a cumulative leave?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I'm Jen Jaskula at 830 Chestnut Street. I just got a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name.
Jen Jaskula.
Jen, thank you, Jen.
Sorry. With the recreation budget, it was 13,000, blah, blah, blah. Does that include the cost for insurances in that, or is that just to run the programs? That doesn't include the cost of insurance to run soccer, baseball, wrestling?
No, that's included under our regular liability. It's in our whole package deal along the line. The recreation budget is basically made up of $5,500 for summer camps, it was $800 for Halloween, $2,000 for Easter, and then I believe it was $3,200 for soccer, basketball, and wrestling.
And those fees for soccer, wrestling, and basketball, those are all basically covered. They're self-sufficient because the parents are paying a fee.
They're paying a fee, and then what happens is those fees are collected, put into each respective group's trust account that the borough has in Recreation Trust.
Mm-hmm.
And then the budget appropriation that the municipality provides goes into that trust fund, and that's how they pay for their referees, equipments, and uniforms.
And if there's extra?
It stays in the trust account and rolls from year to year.
Okay.
Anybody? Everybody's- Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So going to make a motion to close the public portion.
I make a motion, we close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just a reminder, our next budget meeting is Thursday, February 25th. In this room again at 6:30. And I have one matter for a closed session, the dispatcher contract negotiations.
A motion to go into close.
6:30, right?
Yes.
Jen, I could just give you.
I make a motion, we go into closed session. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Very close.
Just closed session.
Yes. Close session.
Opportunity to read it. My bad.
much you have mentioned.
Should we come
Oh,
right
you
up
did,
and
okay,
up?
I'm sorry.
I thought maybe that was,
That's okay.
it is really entirely related to the library.
Yes.
I know.
Lee, present.
Yeah.
Our COA ordinance.
Okay,
Pat and I had everything.
Okay, what's your name?
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Whereas the mayor and council of the borough of Roselle Park wish to discuss matters that were described in New Jersey's Open Public Meeting Act, Sunshine Law, NJSA 10-4-12, and whereas the general nature of the subjects to be discussed in closed session are contract negotiations with dispatchers, and whereas the time when the circumstances under which the items discussed in closed session will be disclosed to the public at a future time, now therefore. So be it resolved that the mayor and council of Borough Park adjourn the open portion of the meeting and open a closed portion of the meeting to discuss the above items. That's it? You guys ready?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
So-
They lost power.
So the dispatcher's contract was discussed and nothing was resolved. And so I think I'd make a motion to adjourn. Somebody make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. See you on the 25th.
Enjoy your weekend.